Hello, I'm Doug Gorman from Simply XML, and I'm joined in this demonstration by Nolwenn Kesrejo from Componize and Mike O'Malley from Simply XML. Simply XML is headquartered in the United States. Componize is a French company, and we have a partnership that is designed to bring great value to our customers who have adopted DITA. Componize is a CMS built on top of Alfresco and optimized for DITA. It supports metadata, workflow, reuse, multi-channel publishing, and a lot more. Content Mapper is a Word to XML authoring environment that's also optimized for DITA. It supports metadata, workflow, reuse, and multi-channel publishing as well. We're going to talk about workflow and show a demonstration of it. It's going to start with Nolwenn, who is the author. She'll write and start a workflow. Mike will receive notification that a review is necessary. He'll annotate the document with track changes, fill in the required forms and approve, send it back to Nolwenn, who will see that the changes are there, accepted, and done. And she can move on to her next task.
Okay, so what we're seeing here in this view is Componize and all the files that I'm currently editing. We have one file here that we're going to submit to a review workflow, which is the environmental policy resolution. You see it's approved, but because I'm editing it, then it will return to a draft version. So here, if I click and in my editor, and that's Content Mapper, I can do my changes. You see I have specific views, so I'll add also a keyword. So I'll say, okay, I'm the person writing this. I have a keyword policy. I'll add resolution as a keyword. Okay, and I'll update the title and just maybe add an image, and Mike, my reviewer, will tell me whether that's a good idea or not. Okay. Yeah, the London Underground map. Okay. So this is where we stand. Now I can close that file. The system will ask me whether I want to add a comment, so update it for the new version. Yeah. The policy check-in. So that is going to create a new minor version of the file. And it's also going to, so this is preview. Let me refresh that view and we'll see that the environmental policy resolutions file is now a draft, and it's a 1.1 version, so we do have a minor version. We can already see the new keyword that I added here. So now what I'm going to do, I can do a couple of things. First is to edit the property to say, okay, this is in review, and of course start the workflow for the review. So here I'm going to send that content for review to Mike. Review. It's always very urgent, so that's for tomorrow, and send that to Mike from Simply XML. Won't change that, that's fine. Here I could add new content. So what's really interesting is that I'm going to send an email. That's a default action, and I just need to click send the workflows. And here I can see that actually here in my in this specific dashboard, I could also see where I can also see the diagram, and this is also a view that's available from the content itself, where you can see that this file is actually part of the workflow with my message and also the type of workflow that it's included in. So now I've updated the file, I've changed the status to review, I've started the workflow, and I'm going to hand over to Mike, who is the reviewer.
So I'm working at my desktop, and I see that I have a new email from Nolwenn. I open it up, and it says I've been assigned the following task to review. Mike, can you please review ASAP? I can click on any of these links to access the content within Componize. In this particular case, I'm going to use Content Mapper, so I'll switch to my editor. And from here, I'm going to open the document. From the repository, I select Browse and navigate to Componize. Our workspace is in Simply XML. So I've navigated to the file. It's Environmental Policy Resolutions. I'll select this and say Open. And now I'm viewing the document that Nolwenn has sent for review. So let's take a look at this. I realize this is an update. And in order to perform the review, I'm going to use the track changes functions within Content Mapper. So I select Review, Track Changes, enable them. I'm going to remove Update. And let's take a look here. I see that Nolwenn has added a new graphic. This looks terrific. Let's add a comment to it. And let's take a look through the rest of the document. I think this looks pretty good, but perhaps let's add some text here and say, we will promote. And at this point, I think the review looks pretty good. You'll notice that the tab Alfresco appears in Content Mapper now, since we're participating in a workflow. Select the drop-down. And I've been assigned the review task, so by clicking on that, it brings up a dialog box, and I can add a note now and say, so I've added a comment for Nolwenn, and then I'm going to update the status. It's completed, and I'll hit the Approve button. And now all I need to do is to check the document back into the repository. I can do this by Xing out. Do I want to save the changes? Yes. We're saving the document, and the dialog box is presented. I can add a note here. This will be part of the audit trail. And now I'm going to check it in. My role as the reviewer is complete, and I'm returned to the editing session in Content Mapper. Nolwenn, let me pass this back to you.
Okay, so now it's my turn to have received an email saying that you've done the job. Thank you. I can actually click directly on the file to see the reviews, but I can also go to the task itself and see the comments that you've put in. So what's interesting here also is that the comments that you added will be included. What I really wanted to show is that part where I can see from the dashboard where all the files I started are listed. I can see the workflow details, and all the comments that are done by the reviewers are captured and kept with the workflow. So if you have some requirements to prove that the workflows have been done and by whom and when, then this is very useful. And I see that the review, okay, the work is gone and it looks good to go. So I can evaluate, do I have a lot of work to do or just a little bit? So that's good. I can open the file. Then from here, there are two things that I can do. I see that this is version 1.2. I can also see the comment that you added when you checked in. What I can do is open that file with an authoring tool directly here, or if it's already opened, I can search for the topics that was recently edited and I'll find that content. This is the one. I actually see that it's part of a workflow. So I'll open that and I'll check the changes. In order to check the changes, I need to check out the file. You remember this is a reservation mechanism for Alfresco. And here, the first thing that you can see is that the changes are viewable. So there is a round trip of the track change. I can see all of them in the one space. Let me just make this a little bit more comfortable. Okay. And navigate through them. So I'll accept that change. Yes, doesn't make sense to keep this. I'm glad you like the graphic, but I'm still going to remove the comment, and this is good to go. I'll just complete that with just this little change. And okay, great. Check it back in, create a version 1.3 in this case, and say changes accepted, reviewed, if you don't want to accept everything. And we're done.